This is the ELPod. Get on board, everybody. The Etobicoke Lakeshore Podcast. Hi, I'm Mike, and there is Roger Tumanieri. He's truck casting today, as he always does, as we are in semi-isolation. Thank you for allowing a human into the studio with me again today, Roger.
You're very welcome, Mike.
And welcome to the show, everybody. If you haven't tuned in to other podcasts, go back in time. Amazing members of the community are featured in there. We have great interviews with them. And in a time of COVID and social isolation, you picked up the gauntlet there, Roger, and you ran with it to get everybody, as many people as we could, onto this podcast to talk about how they're dealing in the world today. And we continue on with the ELPod. You got a new edition of the magazine out, huh?
I do, yeah. Our June edition is out there right now. It should be in mailboxes across South Etobicoke as well. We featured Councillor Mark Grimes on the cover. He's the Toronto City Councillor for Ward 3, Etobicoke Lakeshore, and he's encouraging all of his constituents, and then some, to keep it local as we look to climb out of this COVID hole, so to speak, economically, as we move to start opening up businesses. I think it's a pretty inspiring article, and I'm happy to have Mark Grimes on the cover.
It's worth noting that we could, and we did, to this point as a community, make our way through COVID as best we could by supporting one another. I've seen that in other communities, but not quite like I have seen in South Etobicoke. It's remarkable. So, hats off to the community.
Yeah, and if, just a note to our listeners, if you haven't listened to too many of these podcasts, check them out, because we have quite a varied array of guests, all of whom speak, I think, pretty positively about getting through COVID. And we featured a lot of people who are being very creative in their businesses, trying to keep their heads above water and thrive throughout this pandemic.
I think it's worth mentioning that Roger comes to us from his truck every week, truck casting, creating a new genre in entertainment, which I love. And it's just so funny because, we could have you in the studio at this point, but you just think this is funny. I can tell.
I'm happy in my truck. I don't need to be in my truck. I started in the truck because it was too loud and crazy in the house with 2 young boys and 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Under quarantine, and now everything's kind of quiet and chill.
Yeah.
I'm still in the truck.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It suits you. For some reason, I don't even know if I could do the show with you not in the truck at this point.
It would be weird. Yeah. We'll have to just take one of these, background shots that people have on Zoom, the custom backgrounds, and it'll just be like the inside of a cab in an F-150.
Well, that's a really funny thing. I might actually do that for our next Zoom call. You'll just see that I'm in the truck.
We can all truck cast.
I'm going to try and get a picture of you and in the background as well, and it'll look like you and I together. Anyway, it's delightful to continue on. This week we have a guest. Tell us about this week's guest.
Well, I mean, talk about trucks is a great segue. So I was in my truck listening to the radio, and I pretty much only ever listened to country music. There's like that inner country boy in me that's he's out and about, certainly. And so I heard the radio announcer introduce this band, and she talked about South Etobicoke. This band records out of Mimico, and I've never heard that ever before on the radio. South Etobicoke being featured, specifically Mimico.
Yeah.
I've never heard this band before, but they started to play their song, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. So the band was So Dirty The Flamingos. The song was Before the Misfits, off of an album called Un-American Girl. As soon as I heard it, I looked up the lead singer. I called him, and I left kind of a bit of a long-winded, embarrassing message on his phone. And I was happy that he called me back a little while later, because I was really inspired by the song. I was happy to hear South Etobicoke so well represented on the radio and by the band. The lead singer's name is Lionel Doe, and he's in the studio today. So Lionel, welcome, man.
Hey guys.
There's Lionel right there, a real human being in the flesh.
So nice to meet you guys. This is great.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
And here's the other delightful thing. Sometimes you can get guests in that do something. They don't bring, like, for example, we've had some doctors on the show. They don't bring in a stethoscope. We've had 3D printers come in. They're not coming in with the 3D. We got a guy here who brought exactly what we're talking about with him. We're going to have some live music on the show today, which is a real treat. We haven't had that before.
Yeah, it's our first musical guest. So super excited to have you on the show, Lionel. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about the band.
Well, it's so neighborhood specific. You know, we got our start here. We got started, happened about 5 years ago. We were in another band called the Better Lights. And what happened was just a couple of guys sitting around the barbecue that played a little, you know, and then they heard that the drummer played. And so he invited the drummer, and the drummer invited me, and next thing you know, we had a 4-piece. And my idea when I got down to this basement was that we're just going to crank out some AC/DC songs, and that'll be it. Drink some beer, and that will be it. But as it happened, the creative juices started flowing, and we started writing songs, and the songs got better and better. And here we are 5 years later, a few lineup changes, name change, but we're still going strong. But our first gig was, I would say, 6 weeks after we first met. We did a gig at Placebo, which is right on Lakeshore and 5th Street. It's defunct now, but it opened its doors for us. 2 weeks after that was New Toronto Billiards, right across the street, another live venue place. And then it grew from there, and we started going downtown, Lee's Palace and Horseshoe Tavern and whatnot. But we always come back to this neighborhood. So we played the Grilled Cheese Challenge last year, which was a lot of fun. And we regularly, and this is my favorite gig, we go down to the Village Vinyl record store.
Nice.
And we play there to a crowd. It always fills up with locals, and we sit around and we just play to these people. It's my funnest gig for sure, and it's right down the street. A
real organic experience. And what style of music are you then? Is it? It sounds like country at least, or crossover is part of what you do.
There's definitely some crossover. It's probably most defined as Americana. So roots rock, but it's got elements of blues and certainly country. And that's the stuff that comes to me naturally. But luckily I have another songwriter in the band, and that could change at a moment's notice to a little bit more grungy pop or but yeah, our roots so far are in the roots rock Americana.
I mean, and that's almost an era, isn't it? Some of the bands that came out of the South that really brought rock and roll to the forefront.
Yeah, it's interesting. At this point in my life, I just find myself going more and more roots with all the music that I listen to, and I think a lot of people are doing the same thing. Just trying to get more real and more honest with the music, and that's certainly something that I aspire to. Is just being as honest as possible with that music.
Roger, you mentioned that you're a country fan. What caught your attention about the song that you heard?
Well, to be quite frank, it was the intro. The fact that they were introduced as a band from South Etobicoke, recording in the heart of Mimico. Is it Sody Pop Studios?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. So like all that intro really kind of caught my eye. I've never heard that before, so I really tuned in, cranked up the volume. But then I was just sort of, and I'm, again, by no means a music reviewer, but I was really blown away by your song, Lionel. Before the Misfits is a good tune, and I had to listen to it a few more times to really gain more of an appreciation for it. I wrote a review for the magazine featuring So Dirty The Flamingos, and I found myself really kind of diving into that tune, and I'm, not to put you on the spot, buddy, but I hope you might play that one today. That'd be kind of neat. I don't know if that's possible to do solo, but if not, that's cool. We can always direct our viewers to your website after the show.
Yeah,
but
it requires the band for that one. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. But
you know what? I like what he just really moved into the radio role, because a bunch of years of being a disc jockey, the first thing that you do is you pressure for the song that you want. And I will tell you, Roger, you had the experience that most of us have in radio, the band saying, yeah, you're not getting that one today. So that was fun for me to watch just now. Well done on everybody's part. But let's for a second talk about the inspiration for some of the songs before we get you to play.
Sure, yeah.
You said that the creative juices got flowing. That is not anybody who plays on their own or in a band for a period of time knows it's a rare thing when creative juices flow as a group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the energy that you feel in the room with the people, it has to have that perfect chemical balance.
Yeah.
And I know that from experience. And I'm just so lucky to have those 5 people that I have in this band. The 4 people that are with me, we get into a room and it's pretty much magic from the moment we get in until the moment we leave. And, we're part-time musicians. Like we all work full-time. So getting together a few hours a week and to try to create original material, it can't happen unless everybody's on board.
Right. You have to really focus on those moments and be dedicated to it. And the first thing that I noticed, you ever been in a band, Roger?
No,
well, you were in the Stones.
I have like zero musical skill.
Oh, you know what? We're gonna get you a harmonica for Christmas. See what we can get you doing. But
my wife would love that, I'm sure.
There is no end to the nuance of musical taste that will destroy a relationship in a band. And so for these guys to get together and say, look, we're going to really dedicate ourselves, put the silliness aside, and really try to make some nice music. What are some of the inspirations, and how does a song come about in that room with you guys?
Well, for the most part, the history of So Dirty The Flamingos is pretty much me writing the song on acoustic. So it's me. A lot of these songs were written from my couch, and then I do bring them to the band and just let them flourish. I don't tell the drummer what to play, and I don't tell the bass player what to play.
Right.
They know exactly what to play. And the other thing is Adam, my bass player, he's a songwriter himself. So there's input and
Nice.
There's changes, and then we change the arrangement, or Adam will have something to say about the vocal arrangement.
Right.
And then my backup singer will come up with a line, and it just goes from there. So it's really, it comes from experience too. I mean, we're all in our, 30s and 40s, and we've been in lots of bands, but this is the first one that really clicked for me. So I'm really
Well, that's
lucky.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, and the other thing about, you talked about musical taste destroying bands. Absolutely. When you're young and it's all, you're waving the flag of your respected music. But with us, I don't think there's a genre of music we don't like. So it really, it comes together really well when everybody has an appreciation for every style of music.
It's a rare thing, that's for sure. All right. Well, before we go much further in the show, what can we drag a song out of you? Do you mind if we? You've got that lovely guitar there.
Yeah, I brought it, so I may as well use it.
Yeah. All right. Live performance from So Dirty The Flamingos. Lionel, is this a song that came from your couch? One of these couch songs?
Yeah, this is definitely a couch song. This is from our first album, self-titled album. It's called Away.
I appreciate it. I know you haven't got a huge amount of room over there. You comfy? Everything's cool?
I think I'm good.
All right. Let's do a song. Over to
Okay.
you, Lionel.
How far are you going just to get away? Is it very far, and are you gonna stay? Your spirit lingers in the air, but you're running like you just don't care. How far are you going just to get away? You must have seen the world from sea to shining sea. Did you bring all your demons, or did you set them free? You burnt your bridges on the way, but I'd love to see you back someday. How far are you going just to get away? Well, who's gonna love you when the lights come on? And who's gonna show you everything that went wrong? And who's gonna bang on your door all through the night? Well, how far are you going just to get away? Is it very far, and are you gonna stay? A log cabin deep in the woods, a lean-to made of mud, a picture-perfect cottage with someone that you love. Well, who's gonna love you when the lights come on? And who's gonna show you everything that went wrong? And who's gonna bang on your door all through the night? Well, I learned my right from wrong, and I learned how to sing my song. You told me ain't nothing gonna take you away. Away. Away.
Nice song, Lionel.
Well
That's
done.
very
Thank you, Lionel.
beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Wow.
Really nice.
Does that kind of represent the vibe of the band? You think that kind of feel that...
It certainly does. It's a little bit of a more lonely version of it because I'm used to my band. But that's it. That's the vibe of the band.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, man. That was a really lovely song.
I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Now, let's talk a little bit about where people can find out more about you. And just let me lead into that, if you don't mind, by saying tough times for musicians, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think everybody had to redefine how they do their work these days, and musicians are certainly not excluded. They just getting their stuff into people's homes has taken on a different path for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think the path back to live music is? Because it's such a very important part of growing the music community and building audiences.
Yeah, I'm seeing some different things, and as of today, I think we're reaching gatherings of 10, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a positive sign. So that means that people who are outside of their immediate family can get together, and that's the first step. And other than that, there's all those promoters out there that are just anxious to get people out there and try to figure out a way. And I think it's gonna be different coming out.
Yeah.
But we might reach something towards normalcy, soon, hopefully. But this summer is looking pretty bleak for sure. Because we're also used to just going and see some live music, whether it's outdoors or indoors, but it's a ghost town.
It's the comeback of the kitchen Kaylee, I think. If you don't know do you know what a kitchen Kaylee is, Roger?
I do.
Yeah, I think that's a Canadian tradition that I think may end up sweeping the nation once again as we start to get together in smaller groups. Okay, so now if people want to find out more or get their hands on your music, how do we do that?
The best thing's probably our website, which is really easy. It's www.sodirtytheflamingos.com. And from there, you can pretty much get anything you need. So that's where we sell our T-shirts, and that's where we sell our album. Our first album was released on vinyl, so you can get one of those there. And then links to our second EP, which is just digital at this point.
Our curvy T-shirt model was demonstrating one of your T-shirts earlier. There it is. Look at that. Very nice.
Fits you very well.
Roger, with your early summer tan, that really does pop, that shirt. You know that? Look at you.
Yeah, you've heard of the farmer's stand? I've got one of those.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, the T-shirt...
Just my arms and my face. That's all that it takes.
So the white of that T-shirt could actually just be the skin on your body. There you go.
Are you even wearing a shirt, or is that a tattoo?
This is a really delightful thing to have some live music, man. We really do need music to come back, and we can't wait till you guys are out there doing it. I know you got another song in you. Before you get into that, let me just do this. Roger, thank you very much. I think we'll probably end on a lovely tune today, and I'll encourage everybody to, subscribe to this podcast, share it with somebody in the community, and find out what's going on. And I thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thank you, Lionel. Yeah, you'll be able to download this and other podcasts at etobicoke.com. Really wonderful to have you on the show, Lionel. Really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it, guys. This is the most social thing I've done in 3 months, so
Wow.
I'm a little overjoyed.
I'm going to tell you, I may not sleep tonight just from the interaction. I might be overstimulated. Don't forget to check out the Etobicoke Lakeshore Press, wherever you can find it, and it's certainly online in the digital form. You're the best, Roger. We'll catch you next time, and we'll leave with Lionel from So Dirty The Flamingos and an original with us. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, this is Un-American Girl from the latest EP. Well, I really hate it when crude, boorish men win, and I really hate it when you choose listen to them, talking all through the night. Lie upon lie makes me wanna close my eyes and turn to say goodnight. Don't you just hate it when they claim to know everything about the world, but a girl over alone, staring me up inside, it's eating me alive, makes me want to turn around and burn it down, but you're so right. Oh, you're knock-kneed and beautiful, star-eyed and whimsical, you're already unattainable. Your heartbeat in a whiskey glass, shockwave from a distant blast. You are my un-American girl, so far beyond this world. So who you gonna listen? Who you gonna listen? Who you gonna listen to? Well, who you gonna listen? Who you gonna listen? Who you gonna listen to? Well, you're knock-kneed and beautiful, star-eyed and whimsical, you're already unattainable. Your heartbeat in a whiskey glass, shockwave from a distant blast. You are my un-American girl, so far beyond this world.